Part 1. The Village of Drums. It was late autumn, bordering on winter. The wind bit through the pilgrims' thin clothes. Snow flurries danced in the air. They arrived at the banks of a massive river.
It was called the River to Heaven, Tongtian River. It was 800 miles wide, just like the flowing Sand River. But the water here was calm and dark. On the bank stood a large village.
However, instead of the sounds of commerce or laughter, the air was filled with the sound of chanting, drums, and gongs. It sounded like a funeral, yet the village was decorated with red lanterns like a festival.
"Strange," Teng Sanzong said. "It looks like a celebration, but it feels like mourning. Let us investigate." They entered the village and knocked on the door of the largest house, belonging to the Chen family.
2 old brothers, Chen Qing and Chen Kong, welcomed them in, but their faces were stained with tears. "Benefactors," Sanzong asked, "why is the village beating drums, and why are you crying?" Chen Qing sighed.
"Holy monk, you have arrived at a bad time. Tonight is the night of the sacrifice." Part 2. The Terrible Price. "What sacrifice?" Wukong asked, jumping onto a chair. "We have a god here," the old man explained.
He is called the King of Spiritual Inspiration. He lives in the river. He controls the weather. If we make him happy, we get rain and good harvests. If we make him angry, he sends floods and storms.
"That sounds like a fair trade," Pigsy mumbled, stuffing his face with steamed buns. "What does he want? Pigs? Sheep?" "No," the old man sobbed. "Once a year, he demands a feast."
"And the main dish is a pair of children, 1 boy and 1 girl. They must be 8 years old." Sanzong dropped his teacup. "He eats children? Tonight is the night," the old man cried.
"And the lot fell on my family. My only son, Guanbao, and my brother's only daughter, Gold Orchid, are to be eaten. We have no other heirs. After tonight, our family line is dead." Sanzong was horrified.
"This is not a god. This is a demon. How can you worship a monster?"
"We have no choice," the old man wept. "If we don't, the whole village dies."
Wukong slammed his fist on the table. "Stop crying!"
I am the great sage equal to heaven. I love catching bullies. Bring the children here. I have a plan. Part 3. The Transformation Trap. Wukong looked at the 2 terrified children.
"Take them away and hide them," Wukong ordered. "Pigsy, come here." "Me?" Pigsy wiped crumbs from his mouth. "You and I are going to be the sacrifice." Wukong recited a spell. "Change!" Poof!
Wukong transformed into the little boy, Guanbao. He looked exactly like him, innocent and cute. "Now you," Wukong pointed at Pigsy, "turn into the girl, Gold Orchid." "I can't," Pigsy complained.
I have a big belly. I can't look like a little girl. "Do it, or I'll hit you," Wukong threatened. Pigsy grumbled and cast his spell. He shrank down. He grew pigtails. He turned into the little girl.
"How do I look?" Pigsy asked in a high-pitched voice. "Pretty good," Wukong laughed, "but your belly is still a bit big. Suck it in." That night, The villagers placed the children on golden platters.
They carried them to the temple of spiritual inspiration by the riverbank. They left offerings of fruit and wine, then ran away and locked the doors. The temple was dark. The wind howled.
"Brother Monkey," Pigsy whispered, "I'm scared. If he eats me, I'll give him indigestion." "Shh," Wukong hissed. "He's coming." Part 4. The scale falls. A gust of wind blew out the candles.
A dark shadow rose from the floor. The king of spiritual inspiration appeared. He wore gold armor and held a 9-petaled copper hammer. He looked at the platters. The monster licked his lips.
The offering looks good this year. The boy looks tough, but the girl looks chubby. He reached for Pigsy first. Pigsy couldn't take it anymore.
He grabbed his 9-tooth rake, which he had shrunk and hidden in his sleeve. "Eat my rake, you fish face!" Pixie shouted. He grew back to his giant pig form and swung the weapon. Clang!
The monster blocked it with his hammer. A trap! Wukong jumped up, transforming back to the Monkey King. Surprise! He swung his golden staff. The fight destroyed the temple. Walls crumbled.
The monster realized he was outmatched by 2 warriors. He turned into a gust of wind and dove back into the river. "He got away," Pigsy cursed. "Don't worry," Wukong picked up something from the floor.
It was a single dinner plate-sized scale. It was icy cold. He left a souvenir. This isn't a dragon scale. It looks like a giant carp.
Part 5. The Frozen River. The next day, the snow fell harder. The temperature dropped drastically. The monster was angry. "Those monks ruined my dinner. I will catch the master instead."
He used his magic to freeze the entire 800-mile river. By morning, the water was a sheet of solid white ice. "Look," the villagers said, "the river is frozen. You can walk across." Sanzang was eager to leave.
"This is a miracle. We can walk the horse across the ice." Wukong was suspicious. "Master, the ice is slippery. It might be a trap." "The villagers are walking on it," Sanzang pointed out. "See?"
"They are trading goods. Let us go." They walked onto the ice. The white dragon horse slipped and slid, so they wrapped his hooves in straw. They walked for miles. Suddenly, they heard a cracking sound. Crack!
It wasn't natural ice cracking. It was the sound of the ice exploding. The monster had been waiting underneath. He collapsed the ice right under Sanzang. "Help!"
Sanzang screamed as he fell into the freezing water. Wukong jumped into the air. Sandy and Pigsy scrambled to the thicker ice. But the master was gone. "I told him!" Wukong yelled at the sky.
"I said it was a trap. Why does he never listen?" Part 6. The Basket Weaver. "Pigsy, Sandy," Wukong commanded. "Go down and find him. I can't fight well in the water." Pigsy and Sandy dove in. They found the monster's underwater mansion. It was heavily guarded. They fought the monster for hours, but underwater, the monster was invincible. He used the currents to knock them around. They had to retreat.
"We can't beat him," Sandy reported, shivering. "He has captured the master in a stone box. He plans to eat him as soon as he catches us, too." Wukong sighed. "This monster has a divine aura."
He must be someone's pet who escaped.
I'll go to the South Sea. Guanyin knows everything. Wukong flew to the purple bamboo grove, but the Shanshen, mountain spirit, stopped him at the gate.
You can't go in, the spirit said. The bodhisattva is busy. Busy? Wukong blinked. My master is being turned into a popsicle. I need to see her.
She has been in her bamboo garden all morning, the spirit said. She is carving bamboo strips. She hasn't washed her face, hasn't combed her hair, and hasn't put on her shoes. She refuses to see anyone.
Wukong couldn't wait. He shouted, "Bodhisattva, save us!" He ran into the grove. He saw Guanyin. She looked different. She wasn't sitting on a lotus throne.
She was sitting on the ground, dressed in plain clothes, her hair messy and uncombed. She was furiously weaving a bamboo basket. "Wukong," she said without looking up. "Wait a moment. I am almost done."
Wukong stood silently. He had never seen her like this. She looked focused, dangerous. "Done," she said. She held up a simple purple bamboo basket. "Let's go." Aren't you going to get dressed?"
Wukong asked. "No time," Guanyin said. She floated on a cloud, still barefoot, holding the basket. Part 7. The Fish in the Basket. They arrived above the river to heaven. Guanyin didn't yell.
She didn't throw a weapon. She simply lowered the bamboo basket into the river. She recited a strange mantra. Life is death. Death is life. The origin is clear. Come into my basket. She pulled the basket up. Inside, flopping around, was a small goldfish. It was gold with red eyes. Is that the monster? Pigsy asked, swimming up to the surface. Yes, Guanyin said.
This goldfish grew up in my lotus pond in the South Sea. It listened to me reciting scriptures every day and gained spiritual power.
It stole my 9-petaled copper hammer, which turned into a lotus flower and escaped here to demand sacrifices. That explains why you were rushing, Wukong realized. You knew it was your fault.
Guanyin looked at the villagers gathering on the bank. "He will harm you no more," she declared. She allowed the villagers to paint her portrait.
This image, the fish basket Guanyin, or Yulan Guanyin, became one of the most famous depictions of her in the human world. Part 8. The Turtle's Request. With the monster gone, the ice melted. But the river was still 800 miles wide. How do we cross now? Sanzang asked. Suddenly, a giant island surfaced in the middle of the river. It wasn't an island. It was a giant white turtle.
It was huge, big enough to hold the horse and the disciples. "Holy monk," the turtle spoke. "Thank you for removing that goldfish. He took over my underwater mansion and kicked me out years ago."
Now I have my home back. Please climb on my back. I will ferry you across. Sanzang was grateful. Thank you, old turtle. They climbed onto the shell. The turtle swam smoothly across the river. It took all day.
As they neared the western bank, the turtle spoke again. Master Sanzang, I have a favor to ask. I have been cultivating the way for 1,300 years.
I can speak human language, but I still cannot transform into a human. When you meet the Buddha at the Thundersound Temple, can you please ask him, how long until I achieve human form? Sanzong nodded seriously.
I promise. I will ask the Buddha for you. Thank you, the turtle said. He dropped them off on the western bank and sank back into the depths. Wukong watched the turtle disappear. Master, Wukong said,
Don't forget that promise. Spirits have long memories. I never break a vow, Sanzang said. They climbed the bank. The air was getting thinner. The mountains were getting higher.
They were getting closer to the west, but the dangers were becoming more bizarre. Ahead of them lay a strange country. There were no men in the fields. There were no men in the streets. Only women. Pigsy, Wukong smirked, you are going to like this next place.